Hello. For the UFO ending, please go to the fanfiction, which is linked in the description, and go to the ending and read it, because it's a comic strip, and the visuals are part of it. Just me reading it does not do it justice. So go do that. Yes. Alright. Yay. Ending. Was it inevitable? Unlock condition. See all the memories, but don't encounter Pinkie Pie or Rainbow Dash in the other world. Father, Fluttershy spoke softly. I understand now. She made sure she spoke clearly. I've done a horrible thing, and it's likely that I can never be forgiven for what I've done. I can't bring the dead back to life, and the blood of my mother is on my hooves. Fluttershy closed her eyes for a moment, taking a deep breath before she continued. I can only apologize for what I've done. Fluttershy walked closer to the dark creature. I probably deserve all the punishments I received because of what I've done. I understand them better now. She smiled softly as she drew close to him. If you're still not satisfied with what I received, then I'm willing to accept whatever you think's appropriate. The dark creature grinned broadly, as if pleased with her answer. It brought its mouth up, ready to strike down. Fluttershy closed her eye, smiling happily as she prepared herself. The rush of darkness came crashing down, engulfing everything she could understand. There wasn't pain, but a disorienting confusion. She felt her body churn and sway, as if being dragged along by a current in the water, though she could still breathe. She trembled and rolled through the wavering darkness all around her, before something snapped. With a thud, she found herself back in reality. Fluttershy blinked slowly, letting her vision return. She lifted her head up and saw Twilight rubbing her forehead. Is every pony okay? Twilight asked, opening her eyes to look at them. All things considered, I feel fine, Pinkie said, surprised. Yeah, I feel fine too. Rainbow rubbed her head. Yes, I feel fine too. Fluttershy smiled softly. So, does that mean the spell worked? Twilight asked, a little confused, looking at Fluttershy. I don't know, Fluttershy said honestly. Do you know what was causing them? Pinkie asked hesitantly. I do. And I think because of that, I might be able to overcome my nightmares. Fluttershy gave a soft, sad smile. Well, what was it? Rainbow Dash asked curiously. I prefer to tell you in private, Rainbow Dash. Fluttershy turned her sorrowful smile to Rainbow Dash. Besides, I need to talk to you in private. Sure, Fluttershy. Anything you need. Rainbow Dash said a little hesitantly, not sure what to expect from such a conversation. The two mares stood up and headed out of the library. Do you think they're okay? Twilight asked, looking at Pinkie. I can't tell, Pinkie said, frowning. That's a doozy of a spell. Even experiencing it twice, I can't make heads or tail of what exactly happened. Pinkie rubbed her head. All I can say is, you really should never use that spell again, Twilight. It's more trouble than it's worth. Are you sure? Trust me on this. The world would be a lot better place if you don't use that spell ever again. Pinkie sighed softly. So, what exactly do you need to talk about, Fluttershy? Rainbow asked, following behind Fluttershy. No, not here. Too many ponies. Fluttershy looked around as the two walked through Ponyville. Let's get to my house first. It seemed to take a while, but eventually the two made it to Fluttershy's cottage. However, Fluttershy stopped just outside the door, before turning to face Rainbow Dash. Alright, I'm ready now, Fluttershy said, taking a deep breath. I'm all ears, Fluttershy. Rainbow smiled supportively. Well, that world, I... I don't know exactly what it is you experienced there, but I know a lot of what I experienced was very personal. Fluttershy closed her eyes as she did her best to explain. It showed me things that I believe were meant to make me stronger, so that when I learned the truth, I'd be able to handle it. She turned her head as she formed a sad smile. Or, maybe more accurately, it was punishing me for the things that happened in my past. But, regardless, the world horrified me. But it revealed to me the truth I had forgotten on purpose. And, well... Fluttershy took a deep breath, trying to find her footing. Dash, tell me, what do you think of me? What do I think of you? Rainbow asked, confused. Well, you're... Dash tried to think of the words she used to describe Fluttershy. There were a lot of things Fluttershy was, but none of the words seemed to fit her description just right. She couldn't find exactly what she wanted to say. Fluttershy let out a small chuckle, forcing Rainbow Dash to blush. Hey, I'm thinking! Rainbow said, a little annoyed. It's okay, Dash. Fluttershy softly gave her a smile. I understand. I do. Fluttershy closed her eyes and smiled. I enjoyed our time together. You made me the happiest I've been in a long time. I don't know what I would have done without you, Dash. Fluttershy gave a soft laugh. You've done so much for me. Did I make you happy? Rainbow Dash blinked in confusion. Fluttershy, you're talking like everything is in the past now. Are you sure you're alright? Rainbow Dash looked concerned now. I'm fine, Dash. Fluttershy seemed to force a smile this time. I realized something while I was there, and I'm having a hard time telling you. You can tell me anything, Fluttershy. You should know that, Rainbow Dash explained. You're right. Please forgive me then, Fluttershy said, taking another deep breath to calm herself. I think we rushed into our relationship, and that I might not have realized what I wanted when we did. Fluttershy closed her eyes. I think we shouldn't date for a while, so that I can clear my head. Rainbow Dash blinked in confusion for a moment. She thought the words over very carefully in her mind. Is this what you want? Rainbow asked next. It is. Is that alright with you? Fluttershy gave a weak smile. Of course it is. You need to be happy for both of us, to be happy, right? So, if you need time to yourself, I can understand. Rainbow Dash smiled, comfortingly back. Thank you, Dash. Fluttershy smiled genuinely back. I'm sorry. I'd invite you in, but I need time to myself. If you wouldn't mind telling the others that I just need some time alone, that'd be great. I understand. Rainbow nodded, before turning around. Feeling better, all right? I will. Fluttershy watched Rainbow Dash fly off with a smile. Once she was out of sight, Fluttershy walked into her cottage. She walked across the house, going straight for her kitchen. Angel stirred from his bed as he saw Fluttershy come home. He hopped out of his bed and followed her. Fluttershy dug around her kitchen drawer, procuring a piece of paper and a pencil. She carefully trotted over the table, placing the paper down and putting the pencil in her mouth. She began to write. Angel rubbed his eyes as he awoke from his sleep, but he stared up at the pony with a mix of strange curiosity. Something didn't seem right to him. Something about her mannerisms had changed. Once Fluttershy had finished writing, she put the pencil down and stood up from the table, before looking down to see the White Rabbit. Oh, hello, Angel. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to wake you. She smiled, as she bent down and gave the rabbit a quick nuzzle. He grumbled a little, but took the nuzzle peacefully. He looked up at her with a worry, and she only seemed to smile back at him. "Oh, don't look at me that way, Angel. I'd hate for you to think of me like that now." Angel's ears flopped back as he stared at the mare that walked past him. She had said that in a weird way. He quickly jumped onto the table, before scampering over to where the note lay. His little eyes scanned the page when he heard a door close in the house. His face grew dark as his heart fell. Not wasting a moment longer, he ran straight for the door that had closed. Fluttershy locked the bathroom door, just in time, as she heard the small hands of her friend beating against it furiously. "I'm sorry, Angel," Fluttershy said softly, trying to be as apologetic as she could be. She walked over to her bathtub and began to fill it with water. It didn't take long to fill with the warm water. She heard the incessant banging the entire time. "I hope you'll forgive me," Fluttershy said to no one in particular. She stepped into the warm tub, feeling the water wash over her entire body. Then, without taking a breath, she lowered herself to be completely submerged into the water. She curled up into a small ball at the bottom of the tub, as the last of her air escaped from her lips. An image of her father appeared before her, as she smiled. No matter how much her body or mind screamed, she wouldn't give it the air it needed. Fluttershy slowly slipped away, disappearing into a quiet, dark, watery world. Please forgive me, my friends, but this is all I can do to make amends for what I've done. I have blood on my hooves that I can never be forgiven for. I loved all of you. You were the closest ponies to ever be in my life. And while I'm sad to be leaving you, I can do nothing else. This is my only option left now. Dash, I'm sorry I lied to you. I won't be coming back. But know that I did love you. You allow me to live this long, with the pain that filled me. Please, be happy knowing that the pain is gone now. You meant so much to me. And please, take care of the animals for me while I'm away. Mr. Mouse will need his cast changed on Thursday. He should be able to have it off by the end of next month, if he stayed off of it. Margaret's wing should be healed by Wednesday. She can be flying at full strength before she knows it. Daisy will need her medicine. She has a terrible cold, and I've left the medicine on the cabinet. Finally, Catalina should have a full bill of health by the time you find this, so you can send her on her way. With that, goodbye, my friends. Thank you for everything. Ending. And that's when the meteor hit. Unlock condition. You must find several unusual items during your second playthrough of the game. The Book of Basics in the Tunnel Labyrinth. The Ninja Mask in the Abandoned House. The odd-shaped red shirt in the hospital before finding the second eye. The broken sword handle in the burning house where Rainbow Dash was. A playing card with a brown-haired colt's head in the study of Fluttershy's old home. She carefully pushed the door open and walked through the door. On the other side was a large open room, almost like a small gymnasium. She walked forward to the middle of the room when she stopped. A black fire was burning on the opposite side of the court. The fire slowly grew, rising into the shape of a pony, before red eyes appeared on his face, a white mouth opening. It was the dark creature. Fluttershy stared at the creature. She didn't feel a heavy, overbearing presence this time. The creature was still drawing fear from her heart, but it wasn't overwhelming her this time. She could stand before this creature now. However, before either of them could move or speak, A light burst forth from her saddlebags. Fluttershy jumped back in surprise as her bag rose up the 5 seemingly random objects, each glowing with a white light as they began to circle around the worried mare. And then, in a second surprise, the 5 objects burst up to the ceiling of the room, combining together in a magnificent bright light. Fluttershy tried her best to follow it, but the ball of light came shooting towards the ground at a blinding speed. With a large explosion, the object crashed between Fluttershy and the dark creature, sending dust, debris, and a huge blast of wind around the gym. Fluttershy was amazed she somehow had stayed on her feet through the ordeal. Through the clouds of smoke and dust, a loud cough could be heard. "Ah! Damn it, Brad! You're supposed to warn me about these things happening," came a strange voice. "Hey! I had to get in here myself," came a separate voice. With a second burst of wind came seemingly from nowhere, the dust and smoke cleared. Before Fluttershy stood a brown coat and haired earth pony, standing next to a green pony in black and green ninja gear. But, my story!" The brown pony groaned, putting a hoof to his face. "We've got plenty of time to fix it later, Sam. I need to have my fun." Brad grinned. "But it's time for this guy to meet my secret weapon." Brad reached into his outfit before pulling out a master ball. He gave it a quick toss, as from it appeared a large humanoid, wearing a torn white rags, wielding a gigantic metal sword, and a large metallic pyramid on his head. Didn't someone more famous make this joke? Sam raised an eyebrow at Brad. "Yeah, but he didn't do this. Pyramid head. Use ultimate distraction." The pyramid head seemed to move slowly before the dark creature. The dark creature raised its eyebrow curiously. Then, the pyramid head reached to the ground, picking up a top hat and cane. He placed the top hat gently on his head, before suddenly, out of nowhere, music began to play as he danced. "Hello, my baby, hello, my honey, hello, my ragtime gal. Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. If you refuse me, honey, you'll lose me, then you'll be left alone. Oh, baby, telephone, and tell me I'm on my own." The dark creature seemed to open its eyes, wide in shock, as it watched the horrendous creature dance before it. There was no describing what it was that was before him. "Gotcha now!" Brad cried out, appearing above the dark creature, before rushing downwards and slamming down onto the dark creature. The creature letting out a loud roar as an explosion seemed to rock his being. Ugh! Sam groaned as he got up and walked over to Fluttershy, who was just standing at the spectacle, with her mouth agape. "My apologies, Fluttershy. I'll get the story back on track as soon as my editor is done having his moment." "What?" was the only word that escaped Fluttershy's mouth. Then, in a weird sensation, she felt a warm, gentle pulse fill her body, as her wounds seemed to escape her. The brown-haired pony was unwrapping her bandages before she could realize it. However, when the bandages fell to the floor, she felt fine. Whatever he had done, he had fixed her body. "You feel all right?" Sam asked curiously. Yeah." Fluttershy looked at Sam, blinking again. "Again, sorry. My editor, Brad, there, he refused to let me get away without him having his fun." Sam rolled his eyes a little when another explosion was heard from the other side of the room. Suddenly, before the two of them, a Brad appeared. "Hey, this is all non-canon anyways. Let me have my fun." Brad laughed. "Non-canon?" Fluttershy was in shock. "Brad, I think we put Fluttershy into cardiac shock. Catonic stock. Yeah, Sam said, poking the young mare before him, which didn't seem to generate a response. "That's alright. We'll fix her up as soon as we're out of here. And I thought she'd be the most appropriate to deal with the final blow to this blob." Brad seemed to grin behind his mask. "What did you have in mind?" Sam asked, raising an eyebrow at Brad. "Use an old trick of yours," Brad said, before suddenly moving quickly. Sam wasn't sure what he did, but suddenly his hoof felt very hot. He lifted it up and looked at it, to find that Brad had set it on fire. "Oh, I get it," Sam said, as the searing hot pain began to tear at his nerves. The bloody mess of the dark creature was crawling forward as best it could, letting out horrifying whines at the damage Brad had done. Sam suddenly appeared before it, as the creature looked up at the fire burning on Sam's hoof. "I'm doing this for Brad. So now," Sam held his hoof over his head. "Here I go. This hoof of mine is burning red. Its loud roar tells me to grasp victory." He pulled his hoof back. Erupting, burning hoof! Sam thrust his hoof down into the head of the dark creature. "And now, the end!" The dark creature roared out, as it suddenly erupted into a huge explosion. The fire on Sam's hand extinguished at this. "Excellent, Sam!" Brad laughed happily. "Are we done now?" Sam said, looking at Fluttershy, who seemed to have become a white statue. "I think we need to get back to the computer and fix this trauma." "Oh, no. Hold on. There's one last thing I need to do while I'm here." Brad laughed. "Oh no. What are you doing, Brad?" Sam winced a little, not ready for what Brad had in mind. "Oh, something that'll make the fans very happy," he said, standing up with his hind hooves before clapping his hoofs together. Lance was busy writing down notes in his office about his latest patient. He was going to have to remember to increase her medication by about 50 milligrams, for it provided better results, though he'd have to add a liquid portion to her diet to substitute the increased nausea and medicine that would add the side effect. Suddenly, there was a knock at his office door, and he groaned softly to himself. "Come in," he called out. "I can't," said the voice behind the door. "Why not?" Lance growled, displeased with having to break from his studies. "I have something for you that I can't get through the door at the moment. I need you to open it." "Fine." Lance grunted as he got it from his desk. He carefully maneuvered around the piles of books that lay scattered around his office. As he approached the door, he lifted his hoof up and opened it, looking down into what seemed to be a black hole. "Hey, yeah, I couldn't stop by here without dropping you a visit. And I figured, what better way to show you how I feel about your canon than showing you my cannon?" Brad sat atop a huge cannon that somehow he had managed to fit into the hallway. A loud explosion rang out, rocking the whole hospital at its very foundation as the cannon was fired at point-blank range. "Yeah, I apologize for this again," Sam said, looking at Fluttershy, who stood next to him in the hallway, looking at the cannon as best they could through the wrecked hallway, filled with smoke and debris, though admittedly the floor was now giving a good view of the sky. What? Fluttershy mumbled. This is all a bad dream?" Fluttershy smiled awkwardly. Yes, this was all a bad dream," Fluttershy murmured to herself. And so, once again the day was saved. The ponies, Rainbow Dash and Fluttershy, can go on living happily, with none of the trauma, 'cause I said so. Lance Strongshy got torn to pieces by a cannonball, and everything was better forever. Thanks for that dashing editor, Brad. Are you done ruining my story yet?